All right. Good afternoon. It's your librarian again, Atanabiadu Daniel. Today we'll be looking at one of our topic that we started in my last video, which is the law of library and information science by Dr. Raganathan. Today we'll be looking at the first law of library and information, which is books are for use. Now, this is very simple, and I will be talking to us in a simplified language so that we can get it once and for all. Books are for use. Now, let's consider this. Cars are to be driven. Glasses are to be worn. Wristwatch are to be worn. Now, what this law is telling us is that cars are produced by car manufacturers like Toyota, like Honda, like any other product of cars, to be driven. We don't buy a car to put in our wardrobe. We don't buy a shoe to be displayed on the shelf. Shoes are manufactured. Shoes are made to be worn. Glasses are manufactured to be worn. So, books in this content are produced, are published, are made to be used. Now, Dr. Raganathan discovered that most librarians in the olden days and even up to this present time prefer to keep book in the library. They give priority to preserving, to conservation, to preservation, to keeping book, to storing book in the library than making it accessible to users. Now, this law, the first law which says books are to be used, was made by Raganathan to guide librarians on the purpose for which book is created. If we as librarians put more emphasis or priority on keeping book, on storing book in the library, as against giving users, giving clientele access to those books, that means we forfeited the reason for which those books are published. Books are people's thought. Books are people's experiences. Books are people's research. Books are thought of people that they want to communicate to other people. If we librarians now decide to keep the book in the library, if we decide to keep it in closed access, then the reason for which that writer, that publisher, that author wrote the book, the publisher published the book, have been forfeited. Now, the first law of library and information science is the basics, is the beginning, is the foundation of what a librarian stands for in the library. The books are to be used. The books are to be used, are to be read, and to be circulated. No book should be locked up in the library because of their value, because of how much they bought them, because they are scarce or whatever. Books are meant to be used. The first law of Dr. Raga is the location of the library. If we are in an academic library, where is the location of the library? Is the location accessible to all students and staff? Is the location of the library at the center of the library, or is secluded, of the university, or is secluded area? As per university library, the location of the library should be at the center of the university, such that all departments can easily have easy access into academic library. In terms of public library, where is the public library located? Is it at the urban area? Is it in the city? Is it in the village? Where is it located? Now, the location of the library will determine how easily people can access that library, and how easily they can access it will determine how easily those books, those material, those collections in that library can be accessed by their user. That's the first factor. The second factor is loan policy. What loan policy does your library is using? Do you allow users to be in possession of the library book for more than 2 days? Do you allow them to stay with it for 1 week? Do you allow them to stay with it for 2 weeks? How accessible are they? Are they having access to those material? The next factor we'll be looking at as regard books are for use is the hour and day of operation. Does your own library, does the public library opens on weekend when all staff, when employees are available to access the library? Do you only open it on weekdays when everybody will have gone to work, when market women will have gone to market, when farmers will have gone to their farms? Do you allow them to come and use it at their leisure time? It borders on how accessible your users are to your information resources. The next one we'll be considering is the library furniture. Do you have comfy furniture in the library? Are your users feel relaxed whenever they come into library? Do they feel comfortable when they are reading in your library? Books are for use. Everything, all the factors we are considering borders on how accessible your users are to your library collection. Books are for use. The next factor to be considering is publicity. Do you inform your clientele? Do you inform your user when you have new set of information material in the library? Do you get them informed? Do you notify them? Do you get them involved in the process of acquiring new material to satisfy them? All these borders on library books are for use. Now, as a librarian, as a student librarian, as anybody that is going to be working in the library, we should make it our priority, following Dr. Raghunathan's law of library science, that books are created mainly to be used. It is after they must have used it that we'll now be thinking of how to preserve it, how to conserve it, how to elongate its lifestyle and all that. Books are for use. The reason we are called librarian, the reasons we are called information manager is to make sure that those books, those information resources material, those information bearing are available to all the users. They are not restricted from having access to them. That is why Dr. Raghunathan says books are for use. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until I see you in my next video, where we'll be discussing every user's his book, the second law of Dr. Raghunathan, law of library science. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.